Hi. It is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I am just here to say that I take off the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I have probably the last decade or so. Yeah, that sounds about right. Probably more than that, honestly. And I take it off to help cook Thanksgiving with my mom. And the past years has been with my nanny. My nanny's still here. She's 91, so she just stays in the basement while we're up in the kitchen. So my mom is now retired. So when she was working, it was more or less like we have to hurry up and get as much done as we can in that day because it's coming tomorrow. We would do Thanksgiving the next day. Now it became more chill. So now we take off the Wednesday to cook before, but it's actually not Thanksgiving Day. We do the Friday because we accommodate, my sister's family, so she could visit with her husband's family on Thanksgiving Day. So it's less of a rush. And then also, this girl's retired. So she has the whole week before to slowly putz and do things. And she's like Martha Stewart. She's like the queen in the kitchen. She feeds to love people. That's her. That's how she shows love. She'll feed you. Try this, eat this, like take this home. That's her love language for sure. So it's funny. So I walk in today and she's like, we only have to do like two things. We're like busting butt all day long. And I'm like, we only have to do two things. We just came to hang out then. She goes, I know. And we just had a good day hanging out and being together and talking and being deep together and just, you know, being girls, being sisters, honestly. So that's nice. And I appreciate it. But I watched the movie The Family Stone. First of all, rest in peace, Diane Keaton. I am like distraught that she has passed away. Okay. Like when I look at Diane Keaton on the screen, I feel my mom's energy. Okay. So when I look at her, I just think like, oh, she just reminds me of my mom. Like just like funny and light, but also like a bad bitch. So I'm like, I just definitely, when I watched that movie, spoiler alert, Diane Keaton has cancer, and then her character ends up passing before the next Christmas. I lost it. I was hysterically crying because as an empath, I could feel this is why I don't watch scary movies. This is why I don't like watching like super sad movies where because I put myself in your position so much so that it is debilitating for me. Okay. So I'm watching this. I just picked a random Christmas movie. I wasn't thinking it was going to be sad. And I was into the story. It was a good story was happening. I love it. I will watch it again because it was such a good movie. But once it got to the part where I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that she was sick. Then by the end of the movie, I am hysterical. I'm sobbing uncontrollably, as we all know can happen at a drop of a hat, which probably will because I'm about to say what's leading here. I put myself in that position so hardly that I thought to myself, I couldn't imagine the holidays without my mom. My holidays are my mom. Like moms are Christmas magic. Moms are Thanksgiving. Like they're the ones that make sure it's special. Like, and I hope that everyone thanks their mom on Thanksgiving. Thanks whoever's cooking. Thank that person who's like busting their butt, not just that morning to make sure everything's out and hot at the same time. Make sure that they that you like hug them and just say we appreciate all that you do. Like no one realizes how much how much thought and time and money. Hosting a party is not cheap. Okay, so just remember that before the next coming holidays are coming. On top of that, hi Harvey. Yes. On top of that, I'm a nostalgic person. Hi, Bubby. I am I love old traditions. I love reasons to get people together. I love gathering. I love, community. I love people so much. It's ridiculous, honestly. But so when I think of the Wednesday before, I think of making my nanny's like dressing, and the dressing we make is like totally from the Depression. Like it's just bread, onions, butter, and poultry seasoning, and like the way you make it, you know. And so like that is nostalgic, and I can't even eat it because I'm gluten free. But making it and everyone else being like, yes, it tastes just like Nanny's. And when people say that right now, like this is Nanny's, I'm making it. Like you don't. It's like a piece of me. Just threw up in a pot, and I'm serving it to you, and you get to enjoy it. That's my thoughts. And I'm like, oh, and then like my mom and papa made a certain mac and cheese that is Auntie Jess's mac and cheese. I have had this figured out since I was 18 years old. Every little kid birthday party that my friends would host, Auntie Jess has to bring the mac and cheese. Every Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, yeah, birthdays, I have to bring it. It's a staple. And especially if there's a bunch of kids around, like that's, you know, and it's good. It is not fancy. It's not baked with a crust and it looks all, no, this is just, you could tell it's made from my heart. And that being said, I just said my mom likes to feed, and I never realized I enjoy cooking when I know someone else is going to be eating it. I do pour all of my love into it while I'm doing it. I'm romanticizing the act of making this for you. Like, I'm making it special for you. And for the dressing and the mac and cheese, I'm making it special for you because I can't have either of those things. So I can't even taste test it. I literally am like, this is for you, and I hope you enjoy it. But I would always remember like we would be there super late so we could put the turkey in tonight if it was gonna be Thanksgiving in the morning. And my nanny would be like, we have to pull all the guts out and like, you know, and clean it out and stuff it with good stuff. I don't know. And I don't really remember, but I just remember that being me, my mom, and my nanny. Like that's how I'll remember it. So when movies like The Family Stone happen and it like messes with my mind that I'm like, one day, oh my gosh, I can't even say it. One day I'm going to have to experience a Thanksgiving without them. And I'm 33 years old and have a 91-year-old grandma that I still got to go downstairs and talk to her and hang out with her today and ask how she's doing and hug her. And she always says I'm so warm, and I give her the biggest hugs and I'll rub her back for her, and she always we like take it in. And like Nanny will never ever question if I love her because I like literally make out with her. I literally lay on top of her. I'm like, I love you so much. You know, just love that sweet lady. She is a large part of my life. The way I am a determined person and have, you know, goals are very goal oriented and a lover, you know, all of that is my nanny and my mom. So I give them full credit in my loving game because they love hard. I love hard. Um, but this is going to be a sad episode. So I'm sorry, but I wanted to talk about it because I didn't know where to start, to be honest. I'm sitting here and I have so many stories that I have to say. And in my mind, I'm like, I should be telling them in numerical order. In a timeline, I should be telling you like, okay, let's go back to when I was 10. Let's go back to when I was 11. Let's go back to when I was 16. Blah, blah. I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I can't be structured like that. I'm not going to follow a timeline. And if you haven't noticed, this podcast is an array. You have no clue what you're walking into. You don't know if I'm going to cry or laugh, which it seems like I'm probably crying a lot. But like, I don't have a rhyme or reason. I'm just here to share. I don't want there to be a structure. Whatever's supposed to come out is going to come out. You know, this is the most realness you're going to find on the internet is the vibe. I'm just being me. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. This is my cool rock. Is this Galanite? Salinite? Let me look. I have a list of rocks that I went into the rock store to be like, I want one of these. And I didn't think I would delete it because I remember I'll see it and know exactly which one was the blue splickly one. I just didn't know. And I take notes on everything. I'm going to end up coming back here and going to read off of my notes at some point in time when we get there. I think I just know that that's going to be an important part of this story once we get there. But again, I'm just talking in whatever order I feel like it is appropriate. So let me get to my rock. Hold on. Lots of lists for the grocery store. Oh, there it is. Kyanite. This is kyanite. And it, right? That's the list. Yeah, this is kyanite. Kyanite, don't quote me. I'm going to Google it first because I was about to say kyanite aligns all of your chakras. Let me Google it. Kyanite. Energy alignment, communication, spiritual awareness, believed to align all chakras. I knew it. Facilitate communication, dispel negative energy, and ground spiritual energy. It's a stone that does not hold negative energy, is considered to be a self-cleansing stone that never needs to be cleansed itself. I'm holding this because everyone needs all their chakras realigned after heavy emotional baloney. But anyway, okay, so we're gonna talk. Okay. Watching The Family Stone and then hanging out with my mom today and getting to spend a special day, just me and her. No one else comes. No one else comes to try to keep traditions. No one else comes and tries to just be a bunch of hens in the kitchen. I don't think anyone cares about that. I do. I literally should have been born in like 1920, just like a bunch of women in the kitchen, like kneading dough. Like, how fun would that be? And everyone just being together. I love that. I love that. Anyway, so after watching The Family Stone and feeling for 2 seconds, knowing that one day I'm gonna have to spend the holidays without my mom, me and my husband started dating. I was 16 years old. He was 18. We were together for all of 3 months when his mom died. Her name was Rhonda. We talk to Rhonda all the time, and we joke about her because she was so funny. And we say things, that ones probably shouldn't say. But, when your mom dies in a very tragic way, disclaimer, I don't want you to be shocked. She died of suicide. So if I talk about it later, I don't want you to be like, oh, I had no idea. So I'm going to tell you. So be ready. If you don't want to hear it, I get it. Move on. Fast forward. I was 16. He was 18. We were together for all of 3 months. It was April Fool's Day. And he woke up and he wasn't home alone. She was there, but he didn't know that because he was asleep in his room. And when he woke up and looked around, he didn't have to get up, so he just fell back asleep. But then when he actually got up, he realized his door was open more. So then he got up for the day, and he was actually waiting for his cousin Dustin to come to the house to pick up a dolly, so they could move the washer and dryer down to the basement of their house. So he was coming over to borrow that. So he came into the house, and Matt and him were talking about something on the TV, and then they walk into the kitchen, and Matt walks in first, but to the garage to go grab the dolly, and he opens the door and he turns like this to flip on the light, and Dustin looked past him and saw she hung herself, and he said, "What is that?" And Matt said he let out a scream that he could never recreate and that he hears in his dreams. And he said, "That's my mom." And that's how they found her. Matt found her. My 18-year-old boyfriend at the time found his mom. And he was only 18 years old. And I'm 33, crying about how I couldn't imagine having a Thanksgiving without my mom. I think as the healer empath inside of me, as a 16-year-old, I'm the one who helped him move through that. So I was the one that was helping him, like, still feel like he has a closeness with somebody. I was helping him realize that he isn't going to actually be alone. I'm going to be here for you. And that, like, anything he wanted to talk about, he would pour his heart out to me. And I would just catch it and just try to really take it all in. And I didn't realize how close of a bond they had. They were really, really, really close. Like, that was his best friend. Um, but mental health and mental awareness is huge. So I just want everyone to know, like, if you ever are thinking of suicidal thoughts or of harming yourself, or if you know someone else that does, please call the suicide hotline. Please call a friend and say you're not doing well. Please don't wait for someone to notice if something's actually going to happen or not. If you are not doing okay, please tell someone that you know loves you. Call me. So, as a 16-year-old, I didn't allow myself to put myself in his shoes. I never could imagine going through that. I think because in my heart of hearts, I know I'm never going to have to. I would never have to worry about that for my mom. I know that. That is very reassuring. That is, yeah. So, we're just going to get in it. So, not only do the holidays make me feel some type of way when it comes to being with everyone gets to be with their family, I also get to the point of, like, we don't have another family we have to go spend time with. Have to, that sounds bad, but we don't have to fit in our schedule more days or more time or more people than the ones that we see. So when we all had to move Thanksgiving, these few years now and continuing on, it's going to always be on Friday to accommodate my sister with her husband's family and her kids. So we will do that because we want the kids to be with us all day. So if you get to go there and be with them all day, we'll gladly wait for tomorrow. Like, that is totally the energy of all of us. We're all very chill, laid back. We just want to spend time together. I don't want you to have to leave half of the day. That's just not as fun. And, we like traditions and we want to keep it this way. So we're going to accommodate everyone to make sure that we get a good whole day together. Well, that being said, so now on Thanksgiving Day, we don't have to go anywhere. So me and Matt spend super quality time that day. The years past, I'd always pick up my cousin's daughter, and she would come and spend time with us until Thanksgiving, and then her mom would come to Thanksgiving, and then she goes home with her. So we would kidnap her and have her for a few days, but that didn't happen this year. So now we get to have one whole day just us, and it's so funny because our whole life is just us, but we love spending time together. We love just being in our pajamas, being in our house, being with the dogs, truly enjoying each other's company. I'm excited for tomorrow. Like, we're gonna wake up, we're gonna go to the gym, we're gonna come home, we're gonna make breakfast. I bought a 1,000 piece Christmas puzzle, and we said we'll do that for a while. We love Stranger Things. The first 4 episodes of the last season have came out, so we're probably gonna post up on the couch and watch that. I'm excited to do those things. My life is very busy, and to have a slowed down grounding moment with the person I love, that seriously doesn't sound like a better day. Like, that nothing could go better. Other than my November hobby has been making homemade meals and delivering them to my friends. 3 of my friends have had surgery. So I would go, one was wisdom teeth removal, so I brought her mashed potatoes and cookies and flowers. One had a knee surgery, and I made her meatloaf and mashed potatoes and corn. And then now one had a surgery today, and I told her that I'm going to drop off. I made her a bunch of stuff. I made her mac and cheese, because because, my mac and cheese made with love. I made her my mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and like 8 deviled eggs. But I made enough of my mac and cheese and mashed potatoes that we're going to drop it off to Matt's dad. And by the way, we have always extended the invitation to Matt's dad if he wants to ever join our holidays, and he's a very introverted person, so he always declines. But every Thanksgiving, my mom has to-go containers, and after we're done eating, Matt fills a bunch of to-go containers and drops them off at his dad's house, and they hang out for a little bit, and he brings them food, and then he comes back. And that's been the deal. But I made so much food for my friend that I'm going to deliver tomorrow that I made enough extra that I'm going to go take more to his dad than what we normally would give. So that's been my action this month. But anyway, so tomorrow that will be a new tradition. That's not going to be a tradition. That's just going to be a new action that's going to happen tomorrow. That never really does happen. So I'm going to see some people and drive around and deliver some food, and that's nice. I like doing nice stuff. I like, when people can come to me with with a softness, and I can bring even more of a care. I don't know. I am grateful I have that in me. Anyway, we're rambling now. So now at 21 minutes already in, we're going to get in it. Okay. I was 16. He was 18 when that happened. And we've only been dating for 3 months. That's it. He's a 16-year-old. Okay. So now I have opened my arms to him that he is going to join our family, and I've been trying to, nurture this boy back to life because I couldn't imagine going through the life he just had to experience. And I believe if you're 18 or under, close your ears. We left a condom wrapper out, and my mom and Matt was staying at our house for a few days because he's a sad person. And she was like, that's it. We're not doing this anymore. And I was like, okay, I get it. I know. And I know I was young and I understand that. I get it. I do. No hate on that. So then he went and stayed at his cousin's house, and he couch surfed for a while after that. But we went to Sears one day, and I stole a purse and some cologne, and they caught us on camera. And then they grab us and pull us in the back and take our IDs, and they're like, we're in trouble now. Well, they realize he's 18, so he could walk out. I'm not, so I have to call my parents. So I got picked up by my dad. My heart was dropped out of my body. My stomach was somewhere else as well. I felt so guilty and shameful and like stupid, because that is stupid. Don't do that. Don't do that. And we were going through something. It was a kind of a heavy, traumatic time for everybody. I'm trying to heal wounds that I have no idea how to touch, and then this poor boy is going through the hardest thing he could truly ever imagine going through. So, my dad picks me up. We get home. My mom and dad sit me down and go, you have to break up with him. He's a bad influence. You're not allowed to be with him. So I had to hand them my phone. Never got to text him saying anything. It was over. I just never got to respond again. Gave him my phone. They shut it off, threw it in a drawer. I was grounded for the next 3 months. It just was the beginning of summer break. I was grounded that entire summer. The only people I could hang out with were girls I played softball with. Those were the only sleepovers I could have, were girls I played softball with. I wasn't allowed to see my other friends that were friends with that group. Couldn't do any of that. And I had no phone. So I can only be with the people who my parents trust, which I get. And who softball Jessica is like, she's a leader. She is the ringleader, and example. So like, don't be a delinquent. So, rightfully so. Again, I was a 16-year-old. You're going to have to teach me something. And I also know that I was just handed a whole storm of things that I never thought would even happen to me. But, you're given stuff that you can handle. So, thanks, Patty. So, I didn't talk to him for 3 months. My stomach hurts re-talking about this. It makes me feel shameful. That's what it is. I feel ashamed that I did those actions. I was a kid, like you're allowed to make mistakes. We aren't perfect. I know how to be perfect. That doesn't mean that I am. I can't keep up with that stuff. So for the 3 months, didn't talk to him. Never was able to have my phone. Right before school started, my mom handed me my phone back. When I charged it and returned it back on, I had a text from Matt every single day. And it got to the point where he goes, okay, well, it looks like you don't want to talk to me, so I'm going to have to leave you alone. And I didn't respond because that was months ago that last text came in. And I'm not supposed to talk to you. I was just grounded for 3 months because you're the bad influence. You're the bad influence. You're the one that's making me, go off trail. I know that I know how to be better, and I wasn't being that. You guys, I fought for the life of me. I was so depressed. I was so sad. I was down. I It was bad. It was bad. I didn't love myself. I didn't love my parents. I didn't love what I was doing once I became free again and I was ungrounded. I didn't love the amount of partying and the amount of, just being a dumb girl. I was just, fucking around and finding out, if we're going to be honest. So I was doing dumb things and running off and with stupid people. And I have no regrets because I didn't do anything that bad. I'm good. But I was hiding from myself because I didn't want to admit to myself that I was sad because I had to believe that he's the bad influence. I had to believe that he was the one. I'm the one who got caught stealing. I'm the one who said, just give it to me, I'll take it. You know, um, so after a few months, I was super down and out, didn't understand who I was, what I was doing, all the things. Seriously, it's kind of blurry when I'm trying to think back to it. It's very, very, very vague. Well, so what? I got caught stealing in like May or June, and then I was grounded that whole summer. Got my phone back to start school again. And then school starts August. So then fast forward April of the next year on his birthday, he texted me and said, "You're the only person I wanted to hear from today." Um, Meanwhile, in that time, I had been missing him, but I'm not supposed to. I had thought about him, but I'm like, no, I can't open that door again because it's a literal tornado. And that's not what I'm supposed to do. So then when he texted me on his birthday, that's when we started talking again. And I couldn't look away. And so then there would be times where on the weekend I would be like, hey, like, do you want to buy me cigarettes? And I'll meet you here and we'll like chat for a bit. And he would drop anything he was doing if I texted him. He would be out. He would be out in Chesterton with people and then be like, nope, I'm leaving. And he would drive all the way back to Crown Point and come. That's like an hour away. Like, you literally are going out of your way for me. Well, that would happen. And then we would sit in his car and we would smoke cigarettes and we'd listen to music and we'd talk and I'd have fun. And then I would freak out because I was having a good time and I was being myself and I didn't, I can't like you. I literally can't like you. So I'd get out of his car and be like, okay, I gotta go. And then like I would go back home. And then it would be days where he would be trying to talk to me and I'd be like, I literally can't. And I played that game with him for so long that he was like, "You toyed with me," and I go, I wasn't thinking of it as toying. I was toying with me. Wasn't thinking of you. I was literally thinking, I want to be with you, but I'm not supposed to be with you. I want to call you. I want to hang out with you. I love spending time with you. I'm literally not supposed to. That makes me very emotional because I felt very guilty. Like he would point it out to me all the time, like you were dangling me. I was not meaning to dangle you. I was trying to follow the rules, and the other half of me was telling me, but you want to go. Thank you. I know. We're not even actually sad. I know. Love you. Okay, lay down, Bubby. Lay down. Lay down, lay down, lay down. Thank you. So I hated when he would bring up, like, you know, you would hang out with me one weekend and the next weekend you would ghost me, and you never, it wasn't even called ghosting at that time, but he'd be like, you would ditch me and you never talk about me, you would never talk to me, you would make me feel less than whatever. And then like, so then I'm like hurting his feelings, but I'm hurting my own feelings because there's nothing more I want to be doing. So once we got to the point of me being like, you know what, screw it, I do like you, I know I'm not supposed to be with you, but I have to see where this goes on my own. Okay. We dated for a year in silence. I think only a few of our friends knew. I would tell my parents that I was going X, Y, or Z that weekend and would just go straight over to his house. He was living at his friend Mike's house, and we would go there and be there, and we would just order food and lay in bed and snuggle and literally like talk. That's it. Like, it's funny when you look back and it's like we weren't doing anything bad or wrong. We were being each other's like person. So it was like I don't understand how this isn't what this is what it feels like. So like, but they told me I'm not supposed to do this, but like this feels so right. Like I don't understand how this could be wrong. So after a year of dating in silence, my little sister knew. And yeah, only a few of our friends. And a few of our friends would always be like, "You're using us as the house to go to so you could be together because you can't go to your house or." And I'd be like, "If you want to hang out with me, and you're friends with him too, then why can't we all just be together? I don't know why you would assume that I'm using you for your house just to hang out. If we were all friends, I thought we were just hanging out as friends. I wasn't as like couple friends. I wasn't using anybody." Okay. So once it got to that point where multiples were like, you can't just come over here to hang out with Matt. I'm like, you act like I'm not hanging out with you. But once this started becoming a thing, I was like looking at him and I'm like, are we using people's houses as like a way to see each other and I'm just missing it? Or like because if I can't come that day, I have something come up, you would still go hang out with them, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I thought so, but then it started making me panic. Like, okay, but if we do not have these spaces that we are, it's like equal ground that everyone's welcome, then like we're gonna have to do something about that. And then I'll never forget this. I was at his friend Mike's house and he wasn't there, and I was there doing his laundry, folding his clothes while he was working one day. And I was just hanging out, and Mike approached me and said, "Hey, how long are you going to do this for?" And I was like, "What? Do what?" And he was like, "How long are you going to secretly date my friend and not tell your parents? Because this is still dangling him." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I had to date him long enough to see if it's worth mentioning to my parents. I had to be with him long enough to be like, is this worth uprooting me from my family? Is this person going to be my end all be all person?" And it sounds insane, but as now a 17 and a half year old, I really was like, I think he is. So now that we have created our own relationship with no outside expectations, no outside words, it's literally just me and him, I knew that it was a relationship worth mentioning. So then now I had to build up the courage to sit my mom down and let her know that I'm dating the person you told me that I'm not supposed to date, that I have to break up with, who is a bad influence, who was a lot older than me and had tattoos and smoked cigarettes and was bad. He was bad. My, this is my mother's favorite child, by the way. She literally is like, oh, Matt, my sweet boy. Okay, the tables have turned. But the day I literally had to sit my mom down and say, hey, I have something I have to say to you, and you're not going to like it. She's like, what? Because, I'm the bad kid. So she's like, what? It was just me and her in the bedroom. I'll never forget. And she was sitting on her bed and I was standing. My inside is shaking right now just remembering this conversation. She said, what she said, what's going on? I said, so I need to let you know that I have been dating somebody and you're not going to approve. And I already know that because you've disapproved in the past, but I'm letting you know that there is nothing you can say. I said this to my mother as a 17-and-a-half-year-old. Okay. There's nothing you can say. I'm in love with him. It's Matt, the guy that you made me break up with because we got caught stealing and he's a bad influence. Well, I'm the one who got caught stealing, so there's no bad influence there. We've been together for a year, and I know that you aren't going to approve of it. That's okay. If you don't want us to be a part of your life, then I can just go. And after I graduate high school, you will never hear from me again. Oh no, I was 18 by now. Yeah. Yes. This happened in March, April. In April of 2011. I graduated high school June of 2011. My open house party was the first weekend of June after graduating. Yeah. Okay. 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 It was April of 2011. I sit my mom down and say, hey, I'm dating this man I know that you don't approve of, but I'm doing it. And either we're going to have a future together or you're going to have to let me move out and move on after. Because I'm not changing my mind. There is nothing that you can say. And I'm not saying I'm going to marry him one day, but I'm letting you know right now, no one else has a say in that matter. So she's so brave. That was brave. And so I said, she literally looked at me and goes, are you taking him to your prom? That's why I knew it was April. I go, no, I'm taking my friend, Clay. Like, we're just going as friends. Like, Matt will be there at the after party and he'll be joining. But no, like, I'm still going to go with one of my friends. Like I've said, I also would really like for him to come to my graduation open house, which is the second weekend of June, when it was like that was very fresh. And she was like, no, he's not allowed to step foot on this property. And I literally looked at her and go, okay, well then when I leave my graduation party early, you'll know why. Because once all my friends go to go hang out with my boyfriend, I will also be leaving to go hang out with my boyfriend. So, okay. But I'm like, you can take this information and sit on it, but I am going to go. You can tell dad I'm not doing that. So it's either like get on or get out. And I literally was like, and you could be mad at me. I don't care. And I left. You guys, I walked out that house. Boys, I walked out that house so confident and I was shaking. And I get into my 1998 Bonneville, Bonnie, and I drive over to Hub Pool, which RIP, Hub Pool's not even there anymore. It was the community pool at our town. They knocked it down to make a really pretty park with a walking path and pickleball courts. It's nice. Get out. No, we're not fighting in the hippie room. Go, Bruce Wayne. Get out. Go, Bruce. Go. I hate it here. Harvey's telling you no. Bruce, get off. I'm so sorry. Get out. Out. Then lay down. My mom voice is about to come out. Hey, let's go. No, come on. Go on. Be nice to him. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, Harvey. I kicked him out and now he's gonna fight probably. But anyway. So, get in my 98 Bonneville and I drive over to Hub Pool, which is a block from my house. And I park in the parking lot like a banshee because no one else is there. It's like probably 5 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. Also, when your intuition's screaming at you that it's time to do something, there's no timeline. There is no like wait till Sunday. No, you have to do it. Like when it's and like you won't be able to sleep, eat, anything without getting it out. Get it out. It's telling you, just do it. So I park in this parking lot, throw it in park, and I'm sitting there, shine down. Shine Down's playing. Haley's coming. Come on, Shine Down. Why? I love Shine Down. We saw them live. Why can't I? Waiting. Second chance. Second chance. Let's go to the lyrics. Tell my mother, tell my father, I've done the best I can to make them realize this is my life. I hope they understand. I'm not angry. I'm just saying sometimes goodbye is a second chance. Please don't cry one tear for me. I'm not afraid of what I have to say. Then this is my one and only voice, so listen close. It's only for today. I just saw Haley's comment. She waved. Why are you always running in place? Even the man on the moon disappears. Okay. This song is playing while I am sitting parked like a lunatic in my 1998 Bonneville as an 18-year-old who feels heartbroken because I just disappointed my family, but feels so empowered because I just said what I'm feeling. I have been trained for so long to not feel the way I feel or think the way I think or say the things that I want to say. So I'm sitting in this parking lot, hysterically crying, just releasing everything I just had to like move through and feel okay with speaking my truth and sticking up for myself. That was so hard. My mom told me, she didn't tell me this till probably within the last 3 years. So in my 30s, she told me this. When you left, I had to walk out to the living room and talk to your dad and tell him what you just told me. And he said, let her go. Just let her go. We don't have to agree to that. We don't have to, we don't want that for her. So, no, because I'm wrong. They're right, you know? And she said, did you hear what she just said? If we don't accept them or her, then they're just going to leave and we're going to never see her again. And guess who she's just like? You. So do you think she won't keep her word for it? If we say go, she will go and we will never see her again. And do you know what I hate about me? Is she's right. Especially then me. And then if I moved away in that space, you bet your bottom dollar this determined girl would never, ever turn around. I hate that. That's ego. That is you wanting to be right. I'm not like that. But I know her at that time. I was fighting for me so bad that I would have never came back. I would have moved away with the love of my life, and I would cut all ties from my family if they wouldn't accept us. Me now could never do that. But I have a new love and appreciation for my family and my parents. So, and my grandparents and my sisters and my cousins and my now niece and nephew that I want to be a part of everyone's life. I appreciate that. When you're an 18-year-old and you want to fight for your way, you'll do anything to get what you want. So she said that they were having that discussion, and she just kept being like, she means it. She won't come back. So watch what you're saying. And, so now I'm sitting in the Hub Pool parking lot, crying my eyes out, smoking a cigarette, shaking. I will never forget watching my hands shake because it was like the adrenaline was leaving me, that I couldn't believe I was just so brave. I just couldn't believe that I did that. So now I'm sitting here and Spirit talks to me through the radio. Tell my mother, tell my father, I've done the best I can to make them realize this is my life. I hope that they understand. I literally am sitting there hysterically crying, and these words are just like washing over me, that I'm like, they're not going to understand me. They're never going to understand where I'm coming from, that I'm following my heart, that you don't have to understand where I'm coming from, but this is what I want to do. This is who I am. This is what I want to be. And if it's forbidden love to you, that doesn't mean, it doesn't feel wrong to me. If this feels so right, why are you telling me it's wrong? And that right there, I know 100% is what, you know, someone who loves the same gender, if they're like, but this is what feels right to me. Like, and when you find like true love like that, you know that there's literally nothing anyone can say or do to like pull you from that, especially if you found that soul connection of a person. Like, nothing could have kept me away. I know that. We've been universally drawn together for so long. And it was like we were fighting it both ways. We both were. He was all in, devoted, in like in getting me, and in us having that relationship of the whole year of it being in private. It was just, we loved each other so much and so hard, and it's undeniable that's how I was like, I know this is how I want to live my life. And I also knew that he had a lot of baggage and that he had a lot of trauma, not only from what he experienced in the first 3 months of us being together, but before that, the whole life that led to this, that whole life of his childhood of, having to watch this the sad story. So it's a lot for someone to go through, and I was just trying to help and be there and love him unconditionally. So when I'm done crying, I'm done shaking, the Shinedown song is over, and I'm sitting there just thinking, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I stood up for myself. I can't believe I said what I was feeling. I was so scared to drive home. I'm sitting there and I call Matt and I go, hey, I just want you to know something. He's like, yeah, what's up, babe? And I'm like, I just told my mom about us. And he went, what? I went, I just told my mom that me and you have been dating for a year in silence, and that I'm in love with you, and that I still plan on being with you. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, it's a lot, especially for like a Wednesday. Look, that's a lot to process. But I had to get it out, and I was feeling a certain type of way, and you know, I had to let it out. And he's like, "Well, I'm proud of you, and I love you for doing that for us." And he's like, "Well, let me know what happens when you go home." So I go home, and my mom comes down, and she just says, "He's not allowed to come to your prom. He's not allowed to come to your open house party. You you could be with who you want to be with. We're not ready to have it, mixed." I was like, "That's fine." I didn't expect that right away either. I'm not going to have him come over tomorrow after school like it's just a normal thing when it hasn't been. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And so I go to prom. After prom, he comes to the after party, which that was a shit show. That's another story. But and then my graduation party at my parents' house, I left early. All my friends were there. Everyone came. I stayed and talked to family and friends. And then once it started dwindling down, I left because I wanted. He wasn't allowed to come. So I think that was in June. That was the beginning of June. July 5th, I went to beauty school for the first time. That was orientation day at Paul Mitchell in Chicago. So I go there, and I'm there probably for the month of July. And one of those days in the month, my mom came to get her hair done, and then on my lunch break, we went out to dinner, like went out to lunch at a restaurant, and we sat down and we talked. And she asked me about him and asked me about everything, and I explained everything. And I told her, I was like, "I love him, and I think everyone's just gonna have to learn to get over that. And I want you to meet him for who he is, and I want you to, give him a second chance. Everyone deserves a second chance." So she said, "Yeah, just give us some time and we'll figure it out." So April told her about him. June, graduate high school. He's not allowed to come to that or my grad party. July, I start beauty school, tell her about him, and she's like, "Okay, I'm going to have to get over this." By August, my mom told me, "Hey, tell Matt to go help." Tell me this does not sound like a setup. "Tell Matt we're going to need his help. Have him meet Dad at Papa's house, and we need to move a safe." It was either into or out of the basement. And when I said, "My mom just asked for help from you," and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's weird." And he was like, "What does this entail?" And I go, "They literally want you to help move a safe up or down the basement at my papa's house, and it's a day timeline that I have plans, or I'll be at school, or I'll be busy, so he would have to go alone." Which now me is like, oh my God, he loves me that he did that. One, this man has such bad anxiety anyway, let alone walking into a home of people who don't want to welcome you. And he did it. He walked in. He said, "Papa was super nice to me. Your dad said, like, hey, Matt, thanks for coming. We need your help." They helped move it. They said it was cool. He goes, "This would have been a prime opportunity for them to kill me. They could have put me underneath the safe and pushed me down the stairs." And that was not what the vendetta was. But so that was August. Okay. By Halloween, I was like, "Hey, we're taking Matt's little brother and sister trick or treating. We're going to go pick them up because his Gram only lived probably 3 blocks from my house. So we were picking up from Graham's house, and we're going to take him through the neighborhood, and we're going to stop by here, and it's going to be me, Matt, and his brother and sister, and everyone's going to come to the door, and everyone's going to be nice." And either the safe happened after Halloween or that happened and then the Halloween. Don't remember the order. But so then we take the kids trick or treating, and when we get to my parents' house, my mom opens the door, everyone walks in, she gives them little treats. My dad walks to the head of the stairs and goes, "Hey, Matt," and leans his hand over and shakes his hand. I was like, "Hey, Matt, nice to see you." And I was like, "Hey, Matt, it's nice to see you." And he's like, "Hi, guys." Everyone was so nice. Everyone just wanted everyone to be aware that we're all cool now. And everyone was super really nice. That when we left to go take the kids the rest of the way trick or treating. He just had his arm around my shoulder and he just thought, that was nice. I was like, that was good. And he was like, I was scared. I go, I was scared. And I go, I don't know what I think's going to happen, but I just have a feeling of anxiety. But it was Matt's anxiety that it was a lot, you know. I feel that so loudly now that I know what it was. It was Matt's anxiety. So then we continue trick or treating, have the best of time. Now let's go forward. Now Halloween, okay, Thanksgiving. That year, Matt went to Kentucky with his dad for Thanksgiving. So we didn't have to co-mingle holidays at all. It stayed separate. So he wasn't even invited. He was doing his own thing. Then for Christmas, Matt comes on Christmas Eve of 2011. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Christmas Eve of 2011. Matt comes. And I'm like, guys, if he's just going to come back tomorrow, can he just stay the night? Yeah. Stay the night. Had Christmas morning, Christmas Day. We had a big celebration. It was fine. Hey, it's Christmas night. Can you just stay the night? Yeah. Then it's the weekend. And we're doing stuff here in town. Can you just stay the night? Yeah. Christmas Eve 2011 is the date my husband moved into my parents' house for the next 9 years. That's how fast that happened. Okay? But, you know, it was meant to be. I don't know how else to explain that. Everything was lining up, and my mom, it was like she said now as an adult, she goes, I think I saw the heaviness that he was going to have to put you through, or you're going to have to like move through. And she thought, I don't want my daughters to ever have to deal with this heaviness. It's a lot. And I was like, it is a lot, but I can handle it, you know, obviously. So I feel like Matt was the first person that I had to really heal, love so strongly. And it's funny because I would say after him moving into my parents' house and us staying together for the next 9 years, I would say the first 5 years of us living together at my parents' house, we fought all the time. We would scream at each other. My mom would hear us hollering at each other in the basement. No one would interfere because she would hear Matt screaming at me. She tells me this all the time. Me and Dad would sit upstairs and we would hear you guys in the basement and you'd hear Matt talking at you and screaming at you and making you feel little. And my dad would look at my mom and go, should we go down there? My mom would just look at him and go. And she would go. And I would wait for him to be done yelling at me and I'd wait for him to be hollering at me because this man just was a reactor. He doesn't, it's hard for him to process his feelings. We've gotten so far since then. We've gotten so far since then that, you know, if anything just wasn't on his terms, he just would react like crazy. So I had to just like wait for the like fire and then I'd be like, are you done? So, you know, they would hear us screaming and my dad would be like, should we say something? My mom would just like point down and I would just wait for Matt to be done talking. And I would, then she would point and you could hear me go, all right, now you listen to me now, motherfucker. And I would keep, and that is how I would talk to him. You listen to me now. Quit fucking talking to me like this. Why are you hollering at me? Why are you talking at me? Why aren't you listening to me? Why aren't we speaking? Let's have a good conversation. You don't have to be like yelling at me. I'm not in trouble by you. You're not my dad. We would, you know, you have to put them in their place when they're the one they're overreacting. You have to be able to overreact back, but in a way that makes sense to them. I learned that. So now I know his language. I know how to talk to him. I am aware. So then after we moved past the first 5 years, then like year 6 and 7, I was like, wow, total shift. But you know what happened? I quit sticking up for myself. I quit saying, now listen here, motherfucker. He would holler, and I go, yeah, okay. It wasn't worth a fight. I was exhausted. I couldn't keep fighting over things that are stupid or like that don't matter or are like so like a niche thing to be mad about that like I'm a chill girl. I literally like shit like that doesn't bother me. So I had to learn how to like decipher when it was like worth like speaking up for or not. Well, it got to the point I would say by year 7, I wasn't sticking up for myself, not only just with Matt, but with anybody in my life. And I think that matters too, because I, you know, was building my clientele and was building my whole platform of my career, that you have to be a yes man in the business of beauty. You have to say yes. You have to say whatever you would like. I am here for your service. Whatever you're asking of me, 100%, I will get that for you. I think I became a walk on person truly because of my job, because I know how to please people. I know if you're asking something of me, I won't say no. I will always say yes. So it got to a point of it being easier to just say, yeah, whatever you want. I got that for you. No, no, stop. So, once I got to that point in my life, I didn't realize that I was being a walk on. I also just thought, I'm fine. This is cool with me. I'm having a good time. There's nothing really to complain about. He doesn't really yell at me anymore. So what would I have to complain about? There's not I'm being perfect. There's nothing for him to tell me that I'm doing wrong anymore. I'm not speaking my mind and I'm not sticking up for myself, and he wins all of the arguments and I do everything. So what's the problem? If it's working for me, it's working for everyone, right? Oh. So then we get engaged. And truly, we got engaged at 7 years. We got married at 9 years. The whole 2 years we were engaged, I fell in love with him. I found a whole different person in those 2 years. It was the first year of us living in silence together in our love bubble that we were holding on to because we thought one day it could disappear. We recreated it for those 2 years. And while that was happening, I thought, oh yeah, I remember why now. I was slowly forgetting because, when you quit sticking up for yourself, you get beat down for sure. But when this love bubble recreated and we really would look at each other, he was not hollering. There was no things to fight about. We really were doing an amazing job at being in this newfound love bubble again. It made everything make sense again. And I never lost faith or hope in the timeline of us dating either. I never thought we were going to break up ever. So that never crossed my mind ever. That was not a thought to have. We're going to be together forever. That's never ever ever crossed my mind before getting married. Never came to even was that I never even wondered what life would be like without him. Never. Wow. So yeah, we have had a very messy grown up childhood together that we have moved through and morphed through and had to learn each other and ourselves and the people around us and keeping our jobs and and I would say in the whole timeline of us being in our 20s before our engagement, we didn't give a shit about our health. We drank like fish. I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for 10 years. I used and abused my body. I didn't care. It was YOLO. Like, we're literally living it up. It felt like it was the time in your life where it's like, are you not happy that you're doing all of this gluttony things and because you're not happy, or were we so happy that we didn't think of consequences? I really don't know. When I think back, I really don't know. I think both. I think it depended on the weekend. One weekend, one of us would be depressed, and then once we got super hammered drunk, we'd either be fighting or someone would be crying about trying to get through what had happened when we were only wee bits, We were kids having to deal with heavy, real adult problems. So, then it was like we would be fine all week long, and then someone would get too drunk on the weekend And then we would just pour everything out where it's like, life's heavy, it's so much. And we would come to each other and come together. And what always happened was, if there was ever a fight, though, there was always a makeup timeline. There was never like we just fought and then it fizzled and no one said anything again. We have always came to a conclusion and made up and talk about it. Always, every time. That has never lacked in this relationship. If we are going through a problem and it was years on end, by the next year, there's going to be a hard conversation about what we just moved through together. Okay. So, we have truly built this relationship on a foundation of pure love and understanding. That was a lot of information for one episode, but I feel like it all tied too good to. And I'm not going to do a timeline, and there's so much to talk about and so much to say. And that was, how old am I? That was, do math, Jessica, do quick math. I don't know, 14, 15, 16 years ago, something along those lines, somewhere in there. I'm not a math musician. I'm not a math magician. I am just a hairdresser, okay? So I'm like, there's going to be heavy conversations. We're going to talk about parts of life that people ignore. That's why I'm just trying to be real with you about me and life, and that real shit happens to real people, and that not everything is fine all the time. That doesn't mean, and I want to reiterate this, that doesn't mean that I want people to come to me complaining. No. I want people to know that your life is not perfect and that there are problems people overcome. And if someone comes to you and they're talking about something, I don't want you to be like, sucks to be them, or, like, I would never have to go through that because I'm better than them. I don't want any of this energy. I want you to imagine putting yourself in that person's shoes when they say, I've moved through something, and it's a lot. And don't say, but I've moved through something worse. We're not doing that. Be understanding of everyone's story and give everyone the room to feel like if they trust you enough to come to you to talk to you about stuff like this, please, for the love of everything that is good in this world, give them that space that they can feel safe enough to come to you to do that. And if they're doing it too much, just say, hey, sometimes I want us to talk about the heavy stuff because I understand that we'll be there for each other. But hey, maybe like the next time we're together, let's keep it light. It doesn't always have to be so heavy. And, I have been told that, like, hey, you don't have to always talk about heavy stuff. There's a difference between talking about truly heavy stuff, which we just talked about, and not talking about like people's stuff that they think is heavy. How do I explain this? The things we just talked about are like very heavy things. If we're just talking about what's going on in your life and it's a little uncomfortable, that's not heavy. I mean, if it's heavy to you, it's heavy. That's why I'm like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Because if it's heavy to you, I understand. And if you don't want to talk about it and you want to push past it, that's great. But there's going to come a time where you can't always ignore, avoid, or pass that conversation. If it's in you, get it out. That's it. That's all I want to say. Okay. Get you some kyanite. Okay. And hold it in your hands or laying on your chest and just relax. I'm wearing a self-love stone right now. It's pink. Hold it in your hands, put it on your head, put it on each chakra for a minute if you want to. But the heavier things you move through as a human, just know the nicer you need to be to yourself. I think we should end on that. I think if you have gone through heavy movements in your lifetime, give yourself grace. And I touched this. It's like shaking. Okay. If you have moved through heavy moments in your life, give yourself larger grace that you were able to move through it, that you were able to see the light on the other side. And when you look back at your life, please don't hold envy in the fact that it didn't go the way you expected it to go or that it was hard. Everyone has hard stuff that happens to them. And if you don't or haven't yet, I'm sorry, it's coming then. And that's not a threat. This is being here on earth is a hard action. Being here to experience, being here to be a human and experience every emotion we have been given. You're supposed to. They aren't there for no reason. If you're mad, be mad. If you're sad, cry your eyes out and let it out. If you are happy, do something that makes you so happy that it brings tears to your eyes, that you're joyful. Feel so grateful for the life you have in front of you that that's why I cry the most, for being grateful. Every single day there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing, I'm not slipping into depression and I'm not over analyzing my own life. When I'm not doing that, if I am just folding my clothes and music's on and I'm dancing and my dogs walk by and I just look around my house, it makes me cry. I'm grateful. I have a good life and I've worked very hard for it. Me and my husband have worked very hard for this life and I appreciate it a lot. So thanks for being here. I don't know how to end this because I'm not going to see a client at 8 o'clock at night on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So I hope that everyone had a beautiful 2025 Thanksgiving with their family, with their loved ones, with their friends, whoever you meet up with. I just really want you to know that I love you and I hope that you have a great holiday. Okay.